Hi guys, thanks for tuning in. So today we're going to have a look at Live Forever by Oasis. Okay, so we're going to have a look at the main rhythmic elements for Live Forever. And there's kind of only really two progressions we're going to go through. And the first one is going to sound like this. So we're starting on a G chord, and we're going to be doing a constant kind of strumming pattern, which is going to sound like this. Just like that. We're then going to go to a D chord, and you'll notice with a few of these chords, I'm either adding in a pinky finger here or taking off a finger there, just embellishing the chord just slightly, and you can have a bit of fun with that. But with the D chord, I generally like to add my pinky finger to that third fret of the E string and take it off, and also do the same thing with my middle finger, which is going to be the second fret of that high E string. We're then going to go to an A7 chord, and we're going to do a similar thing here, where we're going to be taking off our first fret of our B string, and then from here we're going to go to a C chord, then to a D, and then we start the progression over again, and that's going to sound like this slowly. The second half of the progression is going to sound like this. It's going to be really similar. And so what we're doing is we're swapping out that first G chord for an E minor chord. And when I play the E minor chord, I like to add in my pinky finger to play that third fret of the B string to get that nice sound there. And then still with the open E string as well. And we can arpeggiate that slightly as well, sometimes I like to do that. And then we'll go to our same D chord that we did before, but I prefer to keep that high E string open as well, just to make it that, and that's going to make that into a D suspended. And you could do the D as normal D major if you wanted to, but that's just personal preference for me. And then we're going to go for the rest of the progression the same as to A7, to C, back to D, and then we do that through twice, and that's going to sound like this. So far the progression altogether is going to sound like this. go into an F add 9 chord. So it's like our usual F chord, just like that, but we're going to do a 3-note version of it, or 3-finger version of it, sorry. So we're going to have our ring finger on the 3rd fret of the D string, our middle finger on the 2nd fret of the G string, and our first finger, our index finger, playing the 1st fret of the B and E strings. But then we're also going to be adding in our pinky finger right here, and then we're going to put that on the 3rd fret of the high E string. And we're going to arpeggiate this chord. So now we're going to have a look at some lead guitar for the verses. The lead guitar I'm going to play now happens in verses 2 and 3. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to play over the normal progression, over the strummy bit, and it's going to sound like this. And so you can see what I'm doing is, I'm starting on that G chord, and I'm going to slide all the way up after I play that, all the way up with my index finger to the 12th fret. And I'm going to be barring the D string, the G string, the B string, and the E string. And what we're going to do is, I'm going to bring in my middle finger to play, hammer on and pull off on that 13th fret. Just like that. We're then going to go to a D chord, and then we're going to slide all the way up, this time to the 7th fret with those same strings barred, D, G, B and E, and this time our middle finger is going to land on that 8th fret of the B string. And then we're going to do the rest of the progression as normal. It's going to sound a bit like this. The next bit of lead guitar is going to happen over the E minor progression. And it's going to sound like this. So what we're doing is, we're starting on 9th fret with our middle finger and our ring fingers playing the D string and the G string. And then we're also going to be having our index finger here, which is going to be the 8th fret of the B. And this would form part of an E minor chord. And so we're going to be playing this backwards. We're going to start from the highest note to the lowest. Just like that. So we're going to be playing the B string, the 8th fret, then we're going to be playing the 9th fret of the G, and then the 9th fret of the D. And the kind of pattern is going to go like this. I'll do that again. We're then going to move our shape down, so now we're going to be at the 7th fret, and we're going to have our 3 fingers here like we do when we play our A shape. But it's going to be here at the 7th fret, and we're going to have our ring finger on the B string, we're going to have our middle finger on that G string, and our index finger on the D. And we're going to play that same rhythm, just like that. And then we're going to slide that down and do the exact same thing. So now we're going to be at the 5th fret. After we've done that, We're then going to hit that D note another time, or G note rather, D string at the 5th fret, and then we're going to do this. So we're going to be hitting that D note, and then we're going to go back to our reverse high string to low string, and then slide up, just like that. And then we're going to play the progression over again. So in full it's going to sound like this. Although I should mention, on that second time round, you're not going to do that turnaround because you'll be going to the F. The lead guitar for verses 2 and 3 is going to sound like this. So now we're going to have a look at the solo section for Live Forever. The first phrase is going to sound like this. So what we're doing here is we're starting at our 12th fret and 14th frets. We're going to be playing our D and G strings, and we're going to start off on a D note, which is the 12th fret of the D string, and we're going to hammer that on to the 14th fret, and then we're going to go to the 12th fret of the G string. And after we do that, we're then going to do a full tone bend on the 14th fret of the G, and that's going to be an A note bending up to a B, so from here to here. So like I say, the first phrase we're going to start off hammering on, then to the 12th fret of the G, then we're going to bend up. And once we get to here, we're going to hit that note another time, that bent up note, but we're going to bring it down, and then we're going to pull it off to the 12th fret, just like that. Then we're going to hit that 12th fret another time of the G, and this time we're going to hammer on back to the 14th fret. And that's the first phrase. I'll do that one more time. The second phrase is going to go like this. And so we're coming straight out of that first phrase with another bend on the 14th fret of the G string. I remember it's a full tone bend. And we're going to bend up, and then we're going to bring it back down, and then we're going to pull off to the 12th fret, and then we're going to play that 12th fret another time and hammer back onto the 14th fret, and then we're going to bring in our middle finger to play the 14th fret of the D. Just like that. I'll do that again. The third phrase is going to sound like this. And so I'm utilising some dyads here. I'm going to be starting off with the D and G strings barred, and I'm going to do this. And so what I'm doing is I'm playing those strings together, the D and G strings in unison, and I'm using my ring finger to hammer on to the 14th fret of the D, which is an E note. And after I do that, I'm then going to play those two notes again. After I do that, I'm then going to take my index finger up a string, so now I'm going to be using the A string and D string, and I'm going to do the exact same movement. The two strings in unison, and then with the hammer on, but this time our ring finger is going to be on the 14th fret of the A string. So far it sounds like this. I'll do that again. We're then going to slide our index finger down to the 10th fret of the A string, and then we're going to do this dyad. And that's simply going to be our middle finger on the 10th fret of our A, and then our index finger on the 9th fret of the D. Slowly it's going to sound like this. I'll do that again. The solo up to this point sounds like this. Our fourth phrase is going to sound like this. And so what we're doing is we're coming off of that descending run, and we're going straight in on our D string from our 12th fret, sliding up to our 14th fret. Then we're going to go to the 12th fret of the G string. Then we're going to hit it another time, but this time we're going to hammer on to the 14th fret of the G. And we can give that note a little bit of vibrato. The fifth phrase is going to sound like this. And what we're doing here is we're doing the exact same thing we've done before, bending up, then bending down, playing that 12th fret of the G another time, hammering on to the 14th fret, and then playing that 14th fret of the D. We're always going to land there. The seventh phrase is going to sound like this. And you'll notice that this sounds really similar to what we did before with our dyads. But we're just going to be utilising the first bit of that, where we're going to have our D and G strings barred, and we're going to bring in our ring finger to play that 14th fret of the D. And we're just going to repeat that bit twice. I'll do that again. In context it sounds like this. Our eighth phrase is going to be a quick descending run, and it's going to sound like this. And so what we're doing here is we're going to be using our ring finger to slide up all the way to the 17th fret of the B. And you can either let that ring out or play it a few times if your guitar doesn't have the sustain to keep it going. And then we're going to do this. And I'm going to talk that through with you now. So we're going to start that on the 17th fret of the B string. We're then going to go back, pulling off to the 15th fret of the B string. And then we're going to use our middle finger to play the 16th fret of the G string. We're then going to go back to the 15th fret of the B, and then back to the 16th fret of the G. So far it sounds like this. We're then going to pull off to the 14th fret of the G, but I'm not playing an extra note, so it's going to sound like this. Just like that, there's no extra note being played. Then I'm going to go back to the 16th fret of the G, and then pull that off back to the 14th fret, and then I'm going to slide that index finger down right there. So far it's going to sound like this. And then I'm going to play that 14th fret of the G again, and pull that off back to the 12th fret, and then we're going to go to the 14th fret of the D, and then finish on the 12th fret of the G. So really slowly it's going to sound like this. I'll do that again. And a bit faster. And again. And near enough to the speed you'll be playing it at. And again. And sometimes I don't even play that 14th fret of the D, sometimes I just hammer it on. If the music's loud enough, then it won't really matter. Whatever you'd rather do. The 9th phrase is going to sound like this. And so what we're doing here is, we're going to be coming off of that descending run, and then we're going to be doing this. So we're coming off of that, and we're going to be pulling off from the 14th fret of the G to the 12th fret. And after we do that, we're going to go straight into a full tone bend, and then we're going to bring that down. So far it sounds like this. Then we're going to play the 12th fret of the G, and we're going to hammer on to the 14th fret, and then we're going to play that 12th fret of the G again, not pulling it off. So far it sounds like this. Then we're going to finish on that 14th fret of the D. The 9th phrase is going to sound like this. To play the 9th phrase, we're going to be starting on the 12th fret of the A string, and we're going to be hammering on to the 14th fret. We're then going to be using our index finger to go to the 12th fret of the D, and hammering on again to the 14th fret, and then we're going to get to the 12th fret of the G, and then we're going to be bending up the 14th fret of the G, but we're going to bend it up twice, and then on the third time we're going to bring it down, just like that. And then we're going to pull that off to the 12th fret, just like that. After we do that, we're then going to go to the 14th fret of the D, and then back to the 12th fret of the G. So in full it sounds like this. I'll do that again. So far our solo sounds like this. Our 11th phrase is going to sound exactly like our descending run we've done before. But this time, to go into that descending run, we're going to do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to slide up to the 16th fret on the G string. We're then going to go to the 15th fret of the B. And then we're going to hit the 17th fret of the B, but we're going to play it twice. And on the second time you can add a bit of vibrato. And then we're going to do the same run that we did before, like I said. And that'll be the entirety of the 11th phrase. The 12th phrase is going to sound really similar as well. Just like we did before, we're going to be pulling off from the 14th fret to the 12th fret, then doing the full tone bend on the G string, then bringing it down, then doing the hammer on from the 12th fret to the 14th, and then playing that 12th fret again, and finishing on that 14th fret of the D. And then the 13th phrase is going to be our last phrase, and that's also going to sound really familiar, and it's going to go like this. So what I'm doing here is I'm starting on the 12th fret of the A string, and I'm hammering on to the 14th fret, then doing the same with the D string, 12 to 14, and then the 12th fret of the G, just like we've done before. But this time we're going to play it through a couple times. And on that third time we're then going to do the bend. Again, just like we've done before, bending up twice, and then bringing it down, pulling off to the 12th fret, going to the 14th fret of the D, and then back to the 12th fret of the G. And that's the entirety of the solo. I'm now going to play it for you quite slowly. So coming off the end of the third and final verse, we're going to go into an ending section. We're going to play the usual F add 9 that we usually play at the end of the verse. But instead of doing that entire chord, we're going to do something like this. And so what we'll do is I'm going to be using this descending run from the 3rd fret of the A string, which is a C note, going down to the 2nd fret of the A string, which is a B note, and then playing the open A string, which is an A note, and then going into an A minor. And then into an F, and then doing that same progression over and over again. So we're just switching between A minor and F. Okay guys, so this has been my tutorial for Live Forever by Oasis. The only other things to note in the song is that in that G progression and E minor progression, sometimes when I play that live, I like to switch up the clean channel and the overdriven channel. And so what I would do is, I would play the G bit as nice and clean, and then when I switch over to the E minor bit, I would kick on the dirt channel, just to give the song a little bit more dynamics. And the last thing to note in the song is that in that ending section with the A minor and F progression, there's a little bit of improvisation going on in the song, and if you stick to the A minor pentatonic, you should be absolutely fine. Anyway, thanks for tuning in guys, and I'll see you next time.